Sounds like you got something.
And we're here. And may we have your attention, please, and welcome to another episode of Dragon Ball for Life, where you're coming for the content, but you're damn sure stay for the culture. That's right. We talking Goku and Soul Food. We talking Supreme Kai wearing Supreme clothing. We mixing some EBT in with our DBZ, covering manga and anime for people who might owe a little money to Sally Mae. As always, we are your hosts, the Fusion Dance Dons, aka the Mang Gods. I am Bro Jita, the Prince of all sayings, Mr. Matty Ice Matthew Porter, here with my counterpart, the Oob to my Majin Buu, Mr. Troll Trav. Talk to the people, Trav.
You know me. I stay chillin' and love thy women like Krillin. And you know I don't play an instrument.
He do love women.
And I don't play the harp. But you know what? Go hard in the paint. Call me Super Saiyan Sharp. And today, we have another edition of Dragoncall. This is our interview series where we highlight a bunch of talented people, a bunch of voices, and today we are not going to stray away from that. We have another talented individual, and it doesn't have to. We have the range, Matt. You know that? Like we like to harp on the range, and you know I feel like my hands are hurting from writer's block from just, you know, the guests that we have on.
The transition.
Because, you know, I was looking at his page of his portfolio, and I just was like, what doesn't this man have? What are some topics that he hasn't covered? And I was like, I don't know. I might as well just talk to the source. For those that don't know.
You know what he doesn't do, that? Trav? Do you know what he doesn't do? Fail.
For those that are wondering who we're talking about, based out of Chicago, Mr. Keith-Reid Cleveland. Welcome to Dragon Ball for Life, the next edition of Dragoncall. Sir, please talk to the people for us.
First off, wow, like, if I ever do anything in life worth actually making a public appearance for, I need y'all to come to my intro. Y'all can even zoom in if you want to.
We got you,
like,
bro.
If I get paid, like, I'm even cut y'all off a little piece of with the bag I get or something, because that was, like, next level right there. But, hey, thanks for having me, y'all.
You mean when you do
exactly.
something in the
speak it into existence.
Absolutely. Manifest.
You know what I mean? Manifest.
Nah, but yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all having me on the show and everything. This is a good vibe.
Hey, no, listen, the one thing that we always like to do before these interviews, we have our pre-interview calls, and we knew from the moment you got on the call that, you know, this was going to be a fun episode. And, you know, we definitely love to highlight, you know, people of many backgrounds, especially, you know, Black voices within the culture. So I think that having you on today, you being a writer, you and having the diverse portfolio that you do, I think, you know, we're going to go many places within this conversation. But I mean, I'm excited to just, you know, get to know you more and, you know, have you tell the people about everything you have going on.
Yeah, thank you, man. Like you said, we've had a couple pre-call conversations and everything so far. And like every time we talk, we always stop like, we really should have recorded this. This should have been a podcast right here, right?
Before this.
Yeah, like right before this. I'm like, we have a good like 15 minutes of material probably just there that like will never be heard again. But I mean, hey, hope it's a good time. The episode's going to be fire, right?
Hey, exactly. And you know what? We're always
if all of our own personal FBI agents can like record what happened already.
Yeah, we call it DB4L uncut, right? And it's like the lost tapes or something.
You're gonna get a text.
Like we didn't hit record, but we know the government's watching. If y'all can just like send us the files, like we appreciate.
Oh, yo, matter of fact, I was watching it today, and of course, you can't trust everything on the internet. I saw a video of somebody saying there's an app being developed where they could take an Instagram selfie somebody takes and then use like footage around the world to figure out where they were when they took the selfie. So like, let's say you in Times Square taking a picture and put it on Instagram. According to this thing that may or may not be true, right? The internet, like somebody would like put that into a program and it would like use the background and stuff to tack into like CCTV or whatever to find footage of you taking that selfie. Like, so even if it's not real, that means one day it will be. And I don't like that.
Nah, that's a little bit too close to home.
That's like the face back app on the other guys.
Oh, that's a good pull.
Did you guys ever hear that? And look, we already on a tangent, but it's all good. Did you guys ever hear that one story? I think it was. I heard it like a couple years ago, but somebody needed to request some files of their recordings that they did with Alexa, and they reached out to Amazon, and the zip file that they got back was recordings of someone else. And and like, luckily though, the content was just regular stuff, but it was
not murder.
Yeah,
or like a huge plot to overthrow the government or something like that.
Right. But I could have swore I read a story like that, but
they say that like Alexa, Siri, Ask Google, like that microphone stays on 24/7, and that's why you get like those ads for shit that you never looked up that you might have been talking about. That
shit freaks me out
because it's just.
I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like we didn't realize we came this far, and we already here. It is too late.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bro, I say that all the time. like if you just take flying cars off the board, we essentially have all the shit that the Jets
pretty much. Yeah, that was the road,
right?
Essentially,
we're gonna per our conversation earlier, I'm gonna get a text saying like those were fireworks. I'm like, who is talking about that?
Like we heard what y'all were talking about.
We got it handled, no worries.
So for the listeners, I'm sure they're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? All right, before we hit record, I was getting ring notifications of people in the community, and it's like, oh, did anyone hear 4 gunshots? And then there was one person who went into that original thread, was like, oh, I'm on whatever street they were on, and I was like, where'd you hear these? And then no one responded to it, so then they went to the same post again, or no, they created a separate post, asked the same question, and we're just like, yeah, if you believe you heard gunshots while you're walking outside, why are you on your app trying to figure out if they're gunshots? Maybe you should just go home. That would be the logical thing to do. But
it would be. I feel like when people move into our neighborhoods, we need to be given like a handbook, and we got to have somebody rule them.
They're like, "Oh, it's a beautiful day out. Why would I go inside?"
It says
yeah, like
tails.
You see somebody walk down the street looking a little lost. I'm like, "You from here? No, here. Just here's the handbook. We all got to carry one at all times, just in case. Like here, you need this.
So here, take it.
Word. You got to put like 3 years in before you can like leave a handbook in the house. Other than that, this needs to be on your person at all times. But this is crazy because we like read the briefing and everything, and for some reason, because of your last name, I just thought you were from Ohio.
I've actually heard that before.
And Victor, our last guest, and then Victor, our last guest. Shout outs to Victor Dangerous. He's from Ohio. But it's actually perfect that you're from Chicago, and we're just talking about like violence on the street. I have to ask you about the new law that was passed in Illinois, the purge shit. Have you heard about this?
I don't. So please educate us.
So
go ahead.
So this is crazy. I'm gonna butcher that. I'm paraphrasing the fudge out of all of this. But our good brother Hood, Trav, shout outs to Hood, has sent me a post recently, and apparently the state of Illinois, they're referring to it as like the real life purge. Like they're, as of January 1st, 2023, I think they're calling it the Safety Act, and it's basically all crimes all detainable crimes are no longer going to be detainable, and that's including and not limited to second-degree murder, theft, kidnapping, arson, like a whole list of wild things where now all they can do is process them and let them go. Like anything that would have had been like a detainable crime that required them to make bail to get out, as of January 1st, 2023, that's no longer going to be a thing in Illinois. They're like trying it out. And people are like, oh, the purge. Like, y'all are doing the purge.
Yeah.
So as an Illinois resident, like, how does this make you feel?
So to be honest with you, being somebody that's like born and raised in Chicago, like on the South Side specifically, like I think I'm like, as my grandfather says, I'm like the 5th generation of my family to like grow up out here, right? So like this is basically something I'm used to. Like a long time ago, going to the Obama campaign and everything, Chicago has kind of become this like eat like low hanging fruit when it comes to everything comes to like street violence or crime or whatever. Somebody wants to make a point and all that, right? And like, I'm not gonna bore anybody talking about like numbers and all that stuff. But what I will say is like, that's another example of the truth being worth by people who have a narrative and it kind of going from there. So like the whole like hot take for that whole situation, well, like you just said, like The Purge, which as from like a marketing standpoint, because that's kind of my background, I'm like, that's objectively like a genius idea because like everyone knows what that is. It's a popular franchise and they already have these preconceived notions about Chicago. But like in reality, like what they're doing is like getting rid of cash bail first. And this is to my knowledge is like someone who doesn't work in the court system, right? Like they basically got rid of cash bail, basically in the sense that like, look, you got people in this whole cycle of being incarcerated over and over again because you're going to impoverished communities and people who are committing nonviolent offenses get caught up, they can't afford bail, get stuck in the system, and they just in and out forever and ever, right? So basically what's actually happening is that they're getting rid of cash bail, but like judges still have every right to say, no, this person should be detained until trial. So like that's not going away. It's like normally with those crimes, like from my outside looking in, like they would just give that person a super high bail they can never afford so they know they ain't getting out before they trial. But like now what they're doing is like there's no cash bail at all, but like if we feel like you're actually a threat either to a person or like to leave or whatever and stuff, like the judge gets to make that call at that point, right? So I think that basically what they're trying to do is like, and I don't know if it's right or wrong ultimately, but what they're trying to do is basically like keep the prison system from like being bloated and doing what it normally does and everything. But again, like Chicago crime, those kind of go hand in hand as far as national media is concerned. So like, it's very easy for that narrative to keep going.
No, and that's it's funny because when that was sent to me, that was my initial thought. Like, oh, they're probably trying to limit how many people are in holding if it's not like, oh, he just murdered 10 people type of situation. But then I guess there was like a clip of a state representative who was like super against it. And they were just like rattling off like, oh, if someone commits second degree murder, they're back on the streets and everything and whatnot, what have you. But it's crazy what you were saying because, you know, I grew up in Philly. You know, Trav's like the outskirts of Philly, but it's like that's kind of been our stigma for like at least the past 12 years. Like, oh, Philadelphia, you know, we like were the highest murder rate in the States for a while. And this, that, and the third or whatnot. So, but it's kind of like what you just said. And I kind of used the reference for people. We were talking about it before we hit record, like people who aren't from the block or from the neighborhood. They just hear outside, you know, opinions and whatnot. It's like the thing about Philly, yes, it can get dicey, but 9 times out of 10 where bad shit happens, it's in an area that you would expect bad shit to happen. It's never a situation where it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe that went down. Like every now and again, you might get, you know, a outlier. But for most cases, like people who live here know where not to go. And if you go there, some shit might happen. like there are spots like if you're not from there, you don't need to be there.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like we were talking about earlier and everything, like when you grow up there, there's certain like, when you grow up in an environment like that, at least adjacent to it and stuff, like you pick up certain skills, you just like you should, no one should have to at all, but like I'm not trying to make light of it all, but like you understand like, oh, like a fight's happening, let me look around, like this is gonna get too rough, let me go ahead and walk out, right? Like stuff like that happens, like just certain skills. Like we even talked about how like we're growing up in the neighborhood that had bad moments, like on New Year's Eve, once it got to like 11:50 at night, we on the floor because we already know like somebody's gonna shoot up in the air and like bullets do go through windows. It's happened plenty of times, right? So like, this is what we do, but like it's a different way of life thing, and like if you didn't grow up in that, it's easy to become sensationalized by it and like just take it to a whole different level. I think that's the whole case for a lot of people that make all these things happen. But like, again, normal Chicago thing, and grew up here my whole life, like it's nothing I'm not used to.
And isn't there like just a lost element of people just fully being aware of their surroundings? Like I remember when I first moved into
survival instincts are all the time low.
When I first moved into my house, my neighbor's been living here his whole life, and you know he asked where I'm from and everything, but it was almost. But I mean, I understand because where I told him where I was coming from and everything. Probably just assume the kid just wants to live on the outskirts of Philly, wants to live in the city, blah blah blah. Let me try to help him out or whatever. But some of the things they were saying was just in my head. I'm just thinking like well, that's just common sense. Like well, make sure you don't try not to go to places that you're not familiar with, especially late at night, like around midnight or later. And I'm like, listen, I'll be fine. I'm asleep. I'm running my errands during the day. Like, unless it's an absolute emergency thing.
I get groceries at 9 in the morning when the store is open because ain't nobody up yet.
Right.
He said, my produce is fresher than fresh. They just put it out.
Like, I was waiting when they opened the door. They know me.
Right. He said, "Oh, you know, my man making produce. Oh yeah, come on, like, come on." But,
No, actually,
He said, you know, the bums that be outside the liquor store in the morning waiting for the open, that's me at the grocery store. Ready to shop.
oh no. You know, funny thing is, there's a little truth in that joke for real. Because like, I go to Trader Joe's like a lot now because it's like I'm an adult and stuff. So like, I legit went there like 2 days ago and saw somebody I grew up with. I'm like, oh hey, and it wasn't until I was like right face to face with it. She gave me the employee discount too. I ain't gonna put a name out here like that because I ain't trying to get anybody messed up. But like, hey, like, I fam, I appreciate that.
Nah, that's legit.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You know what's funny with all that? So I used to work at a liquor store for like mad long, like a couple, like 4 or 5 years, 3-4 years. And it's funny because like I would have like regular customers that like would be my folk, and I'm like, oh, what's up, such and such, how you been, this and the third. And then it's like you don't peep like where you work, and the fact that they're a regular customer might be a bit of a problem.
Like, am I enabling this? I probably am, but like I gotta get paid. Sorry.
You become a
because you know it's just like your yeah, like your retail mind is just like, oh, a regular money spending customer, but then like, fuck, I work at a liquor store. You might have an issue, bro. like you're here every day. Like,
is everything good at home?
Like it's weird if you don't show up.
Like, we ain't seen you in 2 days. You start asking, like, you seen so and so? Like, nah.
Yo, no, that's the craziest thing that you said that about that working at a liquor store. That happens all the time. Like you'll have like a regular that'll just disappear, and they'll be like, "Damn, you seen such and such?" And like,
dang.
Yeah, and it's like, and that happens way more often than you think it would.
I mean, when you remember like you're working at a liquor store, it happens probably about as much as I imagine it would if somebody's there like every day. Because like again, it's gonna catch up eventually, but that's still super rough. God.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I would imagine cirrhosis of the liver is like a common thread for people who like frequent liquor stores. It's a through line.
Moderation, people. Moderation.
Drink water, guys. Balance. Moderation and balance. Just drink a lot of water.
No, but I mean, like it's. I mean, we're already off to a great start, and I want but legitimately though, because like I want to get to the fun stuff and the energy that we have going on. But I'm sure people listening are like, "Yo, Keith, so."
Who are you? Why are you here?
Are you mad?
I'm gonna send this episode to my people. They were like, "You talked about what for 10 minutes?" I'm like, "Look, it just happened."
Say, hey, we like Trader Joe's.
Exactly. Trader Joe's and drive-bys. That's what we talked about the first 15 minutes.
How funny would it be if we got through the whole interview, forgot to like bring up what you do, and they're like, "What did he do?"
I wouldn't even be surprised.
Hey Keith, can you record a quick just blurbs just saying like, "Hi, I'm Keith-Reid Cleveland, and this is what I do."
I got you. 30-second real quick punch in about like who I am. I got you, bro.
like, hi, my name is Keith. We're not going to get to this at all, but just so you know, this is what I do.
Like Marco Barbaro from the Daily, like beginning of the episode. Like on this episode of Dragon Ball for Life, we're going to talk to me, Keith-Reid Cleveland.
And not about what you would think.
Every time we have you on, we just don't ever address what.
But see, that's how you get like exactly. You need running gags on shows like this. That's it. That's my running gag. Never say what I do.
You're gonna be Tommy Martin. Like, what the fuck?
Do you have a job?
like, what do you, Tommy? You ain't got no job.
I actually met him, by the way. He came to my grammar school when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, I'm not helping the tangent thing at all, bro.
No, so I guess he was.
We'll get
he had something of a job. No, but I mean,
there you go. In real life, he was
right. He was actually well off.
Did pretty good for himself.
But I mean, I guess that's the perfect segue into Mr. Keith. Let's talk about.
There's a method to the man.
We slid right in. It was a smooth transition.
That was a crazy setup.
Yes, y'all professionals. Y'all find the natural segues.
Listen.
You know what I mean?
No, but I mean, like, obviously within the intro, I briefly touched upon, or teased a little bit on what you do, but let's get into that. Let's talk about it. If you wanted to give a brief introduction, and then we can just let the conversation go.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like as you said earlier, top of the show and everything, which seems like eons ago now. Like I'm a writer by trade.
That was yesterday.
Like yo, it's been a whole 24 hours. But by trade, I'm a like writer, editor of a variety of many different things and stuff like that. But like we said, born and raised outside Chicago and everything. For college, I went to the University of Missouri down in Columbia, Missouri for journalism because they have a good program for that. And I could have gone to Northwestern, which is like on the outskirts of Chicago, but I'm like, I need to get away from home a little bit, some independence, but also not too far because like one, my mom won't let me, but two, I need to be able to get back in a hurry if I need to, right? So that's how that whole thing happened.
Totally feel that.
Yes. Like it's just one state away.
I was actually I was actually born in
Really?
Columbia,
You were born in
Missouri.
Como?
Interesting. Yeah, I was legit. I spent like only like a month there, like the first month of my life. So I don't rep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't rep the set, but my birth certificate.
So when like somebody looks at your biography one day, it's gonna say born in Columbia, Missouri. Everybody gonna be like, really?
No, it's gonna say like literally just born. That's it.
And quickly moved to a different city entirely.
No time spent.
It's all good, yeah. But so I went down to Mizzou for journalism and all that stuff. And then like basically just over the course of the years, it was kind of like a dual pronged career in my perspective. Like on one side, I was doing like what I had to do to like pay bills and everything. And that got me more in like the content marketing area. So like content marketing, let's take it back. Journalism, in my opinion, is basically like writing for the sake of making sure people are informed. Like and then like whatever the information they want to do with it, they'll do. Content marketing, for those who don't know, is very similar, but you're like, at least again, in my opinion, you're writing for a very strategic purpose. So it might be like, hey, I'm going to write content for this company so that they get XYZ result, like more clients, people to buy their products, or like more subscribers so they can get people to get memberships or whatever, right? So like content marketing is what I do for like my day jobs and everything. So what I still do to this day and all that. But like when I have time to and like enough freedom in my life to do so, I've been freelance for a very long time, right? So when I first was in college, I actually went into school as a freshman, wanted to be on ESPN. And then I learned very quickly, like, oh, nah, like that's not my thing. Like one, I want this to be like something I enjoy. Two, I don't like being on camera all that much. I'm cool. So I stay focused on the writing thing, which is always a passion of mine, of course, right?
You wasn't trying to debate for 24 hours?
Nah, because that's around the time the first take really took off. And I'm like, I don't want to just yell for a living. That's not fun for nobody.
It's like, yo,
that's the only way to make it in that game.
In the morning, why are you yelling at me about Rashto Nesterovich? What are we talking about?
Right.
Yo, it's funny because me and you had talked about it before. I always like, I can't imagine working on a debate show professionally because it's like, someone has to be the counterpoint, but like, what if y'all both like the same thing? And this is like, man, now I gotta not like this. Damn.
You gotta be good at improvise and do all that.
Make me lie now. Yo, facts. That's what I'm saying. Because I was just like, I mean, Skip Bayless obviously is like a super contrarian, so he's always gonna have like the clickbait takes. But I gotta imagine that him and Skip, I mean, probably agree on some. I mean, him and Shannon probably agree on some things. Like, but it's just like, oh, but you can't. We're on camera.
Ain't nobody gonna watch two people on TV agree. Like, that's just not what it is.
The love fest.
Not for an hour. You can do that for like a few minutes, but like, okay, I need a reason to hear this conversation.
Or one sentence you can agree on. Everything else.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. Yo, absolutely.
So did growing up when you were a kid, did you always have a creative passion for writing, or was it just something that progressively picked up on the craft and wanted to turn it into potentially a career for yourself?
Honestly, it's a great question. It's a little bit of both in that case, because like writing something that I've always done, like I was writing before I knew that it was a thing that you could do, right? Because apparently one of the earliest pieces of my writing anybody has, my aunt, she has a piece of writing I did in summer school one year, just like retelling my account of my cousin being born. And I just did that in summer school one day because I was bored and we had like a free hour. So I just like did it and drew like terrible pictures with it and stuff, right? And that's some way I've always kind of expressed myself. And then thankfully, like I grew up with a strong support system where they just kept putting me in positions where I could explore that more and see where it would take me. So then like around the time that I was like getting ready to go to college, I was thinking, okay, so I do want to do something with writing because otherwise it was going to be like, I don't want to be a lawyer. Everybody trying to tell me to go that route. Like if that's all they could think of that pays well and has to do with writing. So I was like getting randomly inspired by things like the movie Brown Sugar, was the one when one other was a music journalist. Not Lathan played the music journalist in that movie and stuff. And I'm like, oh, like that's something I could do. Like, let me just get like a dope corner office one day as an editor and like for a magazine in New York City or LA. Now the problem is, I graduated in 2014. Like that wasn't really too much of a thing yet. Like it was already kind of like over the hump. So like it wasn't no like full time. There were some. Correct myself. There were full time writing jobs at that point, but they were super hard to come by. So I just came back to Chicago and just freelanced a bunch.
Oh man, and I'm sure once you start, damn, I gotta pay my bills, and I love doing this, but. Shit.
For me, it was healthcare. Once I need to get off my mom's healthcare, I'm like, I need to get like a 9-to-5 that I can like afford to take care of myself.
Once 25 hits, once you're done after 25, once 26 comes around, you said, "Oh, this is how much these bills cost for my visit."
He said, "How much out of pocket for contacts?"
No, bro, straight up.
I didn't checkup.
I didn't wear contacts again. I used to wear contacts every day, pretty much from like 6th grade until like I graduated college. I didn't wear them for a good 4 years because I had to buy them myself, and I'm like, I can't do that on these things that I throw away. I'm gonna stick to glasses. You pay for those once, and you can wear them as long as you want.
You just walking around like you're at like the store trying to order something. They're like, just kid, why haven't you gotten like contact? Yo, man, healthcare, man. Come on, let me just order.
You want me to pay how many hundreds of dollars?
He said, "Shut up and let me focus." You see me up here squinting.
Oh, bro, I'm too blind. I can't even do that. It's glasses or nothing. That's about it.
Oh no, I wear. So it's funny. I wear contacts and glasses, so I'm nearsighted as fuck.
It's ridiculous.
My vision's pretty bad.
Like I couldn't see y'all right now without my glasses the whole time.
Oh yeah, no, it's just blurry.
If I take my contacts out, I always tell people my vision is like, I don't know if you guys ever had this in elementary school where they're during the dare portions where they put on those drunk glasses where it's just hella blurry.
Yes.
Dare failed all of us.
Oh, absolutely did.
They failed all of them.
I think we sent everybody in the wrong direction. Actually, like we had to overcompensate.
They pushed.
Like, are you daring me? You gonna dare me though?
Oh, you dare me to do drugs?
I see the mantra, but I don't really know if that's really the message that you really wanted us to grasp. Like, especially at that age where you're really like trying to rebel, like you're really trying to question everything.
Yep.
Dare should really stand for drugs are really exciting.
You know how bad Dare did? I forgot what Dare actually stands for at this point in my life.
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. Drugs are really exciting. That's
right?
Somebody put on a T-shirt. I'm sure somebody put on a T-shirt a while ago. I'll buy it.
But hey Mikey, bleep this out in post. We gonna run that up.
Oh, dang. Next merch
ideas.
But and then it's funny because when I was looking at your page and just looking at all the wide range of topics, you covered financial advisors, financial advisement, generational wealth. You talk about anime, you talk about video games, and I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be something where there was a topic that you were like, I don't really know how I'm going to tackle this, or this is taking me out of my comfort zone. So talk about that experience a little bit, because it definitely seems like there's nothing that you won't try to get to write about. But is there something where
Trav said, "Give us a story where you wrote under a pseudonym because you didn't want your real name attached to it."
Said that wasn't me.
You want the fan fiction? Nah, don't worry, I ain't got no fan fiction, bro. We good. But so I'm trying to think.
It said written by Keith-Reid Washington.
Keith-Reid, Michigan.
You'll never know it's me.
Oh wow.
just keeps interchanging different cities for him.
Basically. Every time. But like probably all people think is like, did he just like add the city he's in when he writes this? So like his name's Keith-Reid. Like, okay, so Keith-Reid, New York? All right.
Just all your different aliases.
I'm not gonna throw him off and go like Keith-Reid Cleveland one day. But anyway,
they go like, "Oh wait, our Keith-Reid's in America. This can't be him."
Oh, damn. No, but sorry. See, I don't got the question already because I'm laughing so much. You know about? Oh wait, you asked me about things that I like to be in my comfort zone to write about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for pointing out there's like not much I won't write about, because honestly, like there have been times in the past where like I get an assignment, like this is early in my career, where somebody say, "Hey, you ever watch this movie?" And I'll be like, "Let me look it up real quick." "Yeah, I have. Can you give me a list of the best quotes from that movie?" Like, "Yeah, I'll get it to you tomorrow." That night, I'm watching that movie
Gotcha.
and like getting you the lot. That's just kind of what would happen sometimes. But as far as things out of my comfort zone, I actually have like 2 stories, one from college, and I have like others from like my freelance life and like stuff after that. In college, I went to the University of Missouri. The Missouri School of Journalism is touted as like top 1 or 2 program in the country for this stuff. And one reason why they have that is they have what they call the quote unquote Missouri method, which basically means while you're a student, you're basically always an intern. So like you're either working for the newspaper like in town that have like actual professional editors who are like adults who are in the industry and stuff working it like they're your bosses. Same in like broadcast and all that kind of stuff, like real world experience. So a rite of passage for all the people that wanted to work in like kind of writing or editing was they each before I graduated had to do some form of obituary. So for myself, I'm like in the newsroom, just hanging out my junior year and everything. That's like, I just wanted to be there because 1, it was a good place to study. But 2, like if I'm here, you think I'm always around, I'm good grade, right? But one day, like somebody said, "All right, he's not for an obituary," and no one else was around. So like I just got it. And unfortunately, there was an accident on the highway not far from campus. And like everybody's like, "Hey, like we need to talk to somebody who knows this guy, we can figure out like his life story so we could put an article about it out tomorrow and stuff." And then somebody said, "Oh, we got a tip that he worked at this certain like nonprofit on his Facebook or whatever." By the way, if you don't work at journalism, it's all going to sound really cringy. Just to know, like again, took me out of my comfort zone. I only did this once in my life. So somebody went on this. Never. Like I did it my one time and I was done. But and I still remember the guy's name, but I won't say it here, of course, out of respect. But they like went to his Facebook and found out that he was part of some nonprofit in the city. And one of the editors who like just lived, ate and breathed everything in Columbia, Missouri, said, "Oh, I know the guy who runs that. Here's his number. Reach out to him." So I called the guy. I'm like, "Hey, my name is Keith-Reid Cleveland from the Columbia, Missouri, and I'm calling to write an obituary about insert name here. I want to know if you wanted to give a statement." Dude didn't know he passed away. So that's not only did I break the news to him, that's how I broke the news to him. He just starts bawling on the phone. The editor's across the room, and like there are people next to me like, "Yo, what's happening?" And like the editor comes over like, is he yelling at you?" I'm like, "No, he's just crying. He didn't know." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then, but thankfully though, like things worked out for the best because let me know, like still somehow this
and they said, "Honestly,
like no, that means journalism. You gotta get the story, bro. That's what it is." But it actually worked out for the best because that dude was so appreciative of me letting him know. He said, "Actually, like that individual's family lives down the street, and I know them really well. Like, come by and talk to me, and I'll walk you down there myself and vouch for you. You can talk to them and the family and get statements." So, like, I actually got all the access to talk to this person and write a good obituary about his family and stuff. Then, like, but you gotta imagine that was the most uncomfortable situation in my life, right? And on the freelance side, I've actually written about like family stuff to a certain degree too. And that's always hard because like, it's not only my story, but also the stories of people that are close to me because like, they're the characters in the story that's my life. So like, I've written about like people's mental health issues in my family, then how they impacted me and stuff. I've also written about like my relationship with my dad, right? So like, these are things you got to find that balance between vulnerability, but also like being aware of the impact of the words you write.
Oh, that's powerful. And I think that, being able to kind of separate the two where you're able to, okay, I need to tap into a certain element of my own personal connection and my emotions, but at the same time too, I also need to, be a professional about it. And I can't imagine the initial reaction when you essentially broke the news to me. Like, I'm just doing my job and I didn't realize that I'd be the one to tell you.
Yeah, like it was just like super awkward. But again, like these are things that people do all the time. And like, especially like when journalism was still like what it was and everything back in the day, like that was a common occurrence. Like reporters had to be the cliche in a lot of cases of like the person who's digging up information, which most likely people don't want being dug up or don't feel like it should be. So like you got to be annoying to a certain degree, or like you got to cross those boundaries and get out of your comfort zone. Like that was the living, which is also part of why I went towards content marketing. I'm like, nah, this for the birds, bro. I can't be doing this all the time. I'm good. Like I'm gonna stick to freelancing.
I can't be breaking death stories.
Like, I'm not gonna do this.
It's like, look, I like to drink a little bit, but this might make me become a regular at Matt's liquor store.
I was about to say, like, I'm gonna be that daily customer, bro.
Come see me, bro. come see me. Do you find like as for your particular writing style that you get more out of it, or like your creative process is more free flowing? Like if you do have an emotional attachment to the piece versus like if it's just like business, like, oh, let me not get too overly involved so I could be like an unbiased narrator versus like, oh, I'm gonna put my foot in this one. Do you have like a preference, or do you like, is that something that you contemplate when writing?
Yeah, I definitely thinking about it for sure, because there's a process to like creating content, especially now that I've advanced enough in my career where I can be an editor. You got to juggle different hats, right? So like you can't, and I heard this somewhere else online and I love it too, but I didn't realize exactly what I did. Like, you have to let the writer write and let the editor edit. So like when you write and just write what you need to write, whether it be for a strategic purpose you're keeping in mind, or if you're just writing because like this has to be out there in the world, I'm just like, tell my truth. And then afterwards on the back end, when you're editing it, it's like, all right, so this story can be told better than it currently is. So like, you got to get that checked out. But also like, everyone, even the best writers in the world need to have a second set of eyes on their stuff too. So there are people, even with like very personal like topics that I trust. I'm like, hey, here's an early draft of what I'm writing. Anything jumps out to you, let me know, and then we'll go about it that way. So like, it's definitely a process there, but you got to find that balance there between like being vulnerable and getting it all out there, because that's what like I'm going to enjoy writing the most. It's what people are going to connect to the most, which is my ultimate goal and all this stuff and everything. But you also, again, don't want to over compromise essentially.
Absolutely. Cause yeah, the reason I had asked that question, cause you had mentioned like you prefer to like be on the other side of the camera. I prefer to be on the front side of the camera. So just within performing, it's like, depending on who you ask, you'll get pretty polar opposite answers on just like the approach to a performance. It's some people will tell you like to go like the method acting way and like really just throw yourself into that role. And other people will tell you like the best actors are the actors who like can differentiate themselves from the character. It's just like, oh, I'm being paid to play this part. I don't have to like get overly invested. Let me just kind of like what you're saying, like let a writer write. Like, oh, they wrote this character to be this. Let me just kind of be a medium to express the writer's intent here. So it's just like, but there's no middle ground. It's they either say one or the other. So I was curious if like with the writing is like being overly invested or being more reserved, like more fruitful, if that's like an issue that writers.
I'm sure it is for other people, definitely, but like for myself, like, and that's even when it's my own writing. Like when I might even like write it one day, sleep on it, and the next day I'm going to edit it and just kind of go about it that way. Like you got to be able to like step back and look at things as a whole sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's facts. That's facts. Because I do some writing for Fandom Spotlight. Shout out to Fandom Spotlight. That's my one Fandom Spotlight shout out for the episode.
Is you done for that?
Yeah. And it's crazy. 1 to 3 every episode. We got to get them in there. But yeah, but it's funny you say that, because it's like they'll kind of have me do like more fashion articles and stuff. Like when there's like anime themed or cartoon or nerd culture themed stuff that comes out, I'll do like a write up on it. And it's funny you say like you write it, you got to step away from it, because like I feel like let me know if you go through this. Like when I write that first draft, I'm like, well, I bodied this shit, but then I walk away and come back, I'm like, this shit sucks.
Oh yes. Imposter syndrome is strong in writing, bro. Like sometimes I'll get the first draft, I'm like, yo, this is the best thing I've ever wrote in my goddamn life, and then I'll come back to it like the next day, or I might even be like, let an editor look at it and get it back. I'm like, did I actually write this and send it to you? What am I doing? Like, what was I thinking? What happened?
I'm like, ugh, all these run-on sentences. Why
I start every sentence with a preposition? What am I doing? So no, you're the air to everybody.
You be looking at it, you're like, I really thought that was a great opening line like last night. Then you remember you were up at real late. You're like, I really didn't have coherent thoughts at this time. Let me backtrack and redo this.
Oh no, that's definitely a very common thing for like creators in general, I think. Like, yeah. But again, that's also sometimes why you gotta like just step away from it, like, and let things exist. Because one thing I learned in journalism school especially is that like there's no such thing as a perfect story. Like it's always gonna be something you wish you could have done differently or whatever. Like just get it to the best point you can be, where you can like be okay with it, be proud of it, and then put it out there to the world, let the world do with it what it will.
Mm-hmm. And
Hey.
I don't even got nothing to add to that. Stamp that.
No, and like you know, as we're talking about, you know, your many talents and everything you have going on, it's like I'm sure people are listening. Like, well, you know, we on Dragon Ball for life. They always talk about it. They always, you know, talk about how much a fan. I know they didn't get Keith on to ask him about their 401k portfolio or to ask us about you know what's going on with the stock market. But there is some contributions that you have been making that are relative to this podcast. You know, if you may be able to talk about it, you know, your contributions to, I like to call it this was back when Netflix was still like everybody that on Netflix, that shit. So when I say this comment, it, you know, I don't want people to think, oh, you know, Netflix it's not the same as it was. But whenever I would talk about this app, I would say it's the Netflix of anime. So talk about, you know, work that you've done for Crunchyroll and how you came about, you know, contributing to the company.
Yeah, so actually the Crunchyroll thing is actually like kind of just the latest stop, and what's been a long journey, like writing about nerd culture and stuff like that in general. Because again, like when I came out of college, I wanted to write about hip hop. Like that was what I wanted to do. Like I actually wrote for ParentCivil.com for a while and just kind of like went around different places here and there and stuff. Then I'm like, you know, I don't like that. Like music became work. So then I said, all right, let me start focusing on things that I care about more. And like that I know as a person, like it's not homework for me to like catch up on this stuff for real. So I started focusing on like all the nerdy stuff. And the way I started getting into that was for a website called Black Nerd Problems. There's one of my shout outs. Shout out to the fam out there. And I've been a part of them since like 2015 or so now. And it was co-founded by two guys, William Evans, Omar Holman. And they're best friends, been on the slam poetry circuit and stuff. And they just knew a bunch of dope black nerdy folks. And I joined them pretty quick. And in the early days, like if it was a good idea, they just like let us write it. They would check it out, make sure it's good to go, and then boom, it goes online. So like they had some viral articles, like Jordan Calhoun wrote an article about how like Goofy movie, how black it is and everything, right? And that became a whole like internet trend. Like I'm pretty sure Jordan started that trend the whole time. Like that article dropped like back in like 2014, 2015. And like this now it's still a narrative, right? So like BNP, they were doing Game of Thrones recasts back then, they would go viral and stuff. It was dope, right? So like with that, like it's basically a family and everything. One of my friends who works for them named Khadijah Johnson, I found out on Twitter that she was writing articles for Funimation, actually. So I hit up on the side. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for ways to freelance a little bit more because, like, I got my like copy and writing and content marketing job going on, but like I'm trying to find something to do on the side just to like keep that part of my brain going. She reached out to the editor at Funimation at the time. Like it was about a couple weeks back and forth, and then next you know I was writing beginner's guides, and that was basically me writing like articles about like just different anime, kind of like, if you've never heard about this before, here's like light spoilers of like what the show is about, who's in it, what you'll get out of it. Good, there you go. And I wrote those about shows like Fire Force. I wrote one about what else?
You just said the magic word. That's me and Travis.
Bro,
shit.
I love that show so much. Like
Fire Force heavy.
That first anime intro. I just play it on.
They are launching on season 3. They're taking so long.
It's for that anime black hole to taking forever to come back. But like, yeah, that's the kind of thing I was doing Funimation, just like writing beginner's guides and all that stuff. But every now and then I would write like just like long and that like observational essays. Like once I wrote about how sports anime is the perfect like gateway for people that like sports or like anime to get into either. It's kind of a perfect intersection stuff, you know? I wrote about how my favorite anime of all time, Yu Yu Hakusho, is like a great way to kind of like come to terms with grief and trauma and like, or it's an example of how people come to deal with those things and stuff, right? So like, that was kind of how that went. And life got a bit busier because like, I just started working more and everything. So like, the frequency to which I contribute Funimation went from being like once a month to like, once every couple months. And then lo and behold, like Funimation and Crunchyroll decided to come together like Voltron as like two of the biggest like North American anime distributors, and they absorbed from Funimation's editorial department. So like I kind of got grandfathered in at that point, and it's been a few months now, but I finally got a draft of my first article in with them. So once that's published, I can officially say that I have written for Crunchyroll.
Oh, that's awesome. And you know what? You got to share that other article that you were just talking about with everybody, because, you know, I think that's super helpful for anyone that's trying to get into the anime. And you know, that like we were saying, you hit our core with something, especially with Fire Force and Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, I don't know if you had the same reaction for Fire Force that Matt and I did, because that's how we found out, like, you know, when we were both really into it. I was like, hey, Matt, have you checked out Fire Force? You know, I'm not gonna lie, like, I remember I saw, you know, it on Crunchyroll and everything. I'm like, how would I watch something about like a firefight, an anime about firefighters? And then I went into it and I'm like, this is very much different than what I was expecting, and I love it.
Right? Like, I was expecting to be like a day in the life series about firefighters. Like, oh no, like they fight with fire. They're literally fighting fire with fire out here, bro.
They are a force with fire.
Anime Chicago PD. What's that?
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna be like Chicago Fire anime edition, like Dick Wolf wrote the script or something. I'm like, oh, they're like, are that a fire demon? Yeah.
Executive, yo, if you was watching Fire Force and executive produced by Dick Wolf pops up, I would have flipped my shit. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, but see, I feel like we got some weird Blue Lives Matter propaganda in it somehow. We don't need that. Don't ruin what I love, bro.
Wait,
all right, keep your politics out of my anime, sir.
I just gotta bring this clip up from the English dub of Dragon Ball Super, the Goku Black arc, where
oh, don't shoot. He's not black. He's not black.
Like,
yo, it's funny because, you know, because me and Trav, like, we depending on the anime, we'll like watch the dub and the sub, because, you know, if it's not if it's close together, me and Trav have think however we started it is how we gotta watch it, like if they're kind of like simulcast. But with Dragon Ball Super, you know, the Black Arcade came out dubbed subbed way before the dub came out. So we would like make the joke, like, when that episode came out, we was just like, oh, when they translate this to English, there's no way that they're gonna keep this line. There's no way that they're gonna keep this, and damn if they didn't keep
they did. And, you know, the wild thing about it is, like, that's another example of, like, yo, representation matters, because had there been a black person anywhere along the process of that episode happening, they would have called that. I'm like, nah, we need a rewrite, bro. Flag that. No, we good.
Just taking it through like the ending, just like, so none of y'all heard this. None of y'all said something when this popped up. Like, did y'all watch the news of what's been going on right now? Like, and this is what we're gonna do.
That's the part that makes it so crazy, because like when the sub came out, it was like a year before, but then when the dub dropped, it was like in the middle of all those cop killings, like when cops was just out here just offing black people. Like, it was like right in the thick of that episode drops. It was like, whoa.
You know, the saddest part is you say right in the thick of it, I'm like, when was that? Was that 2014? Was that 2016?
Which thick of it?
Are we taking a history lesson? What we doing?
2020?
Like, was that yesterday?
I think it was 20. Yeah, facts. Like, you very, very valid point.
Sorry, I had to flip a little politics.
When the media cared to talk about it,
when it was a major talking point, I get you.
When it was pop culture.
Oh God.
Like, oh man, I mean,
right?
You know,
pop culture.
That's why I said, "Oh God," because that came to my mind. I'm like, no.
Listen, the amount of white folk that adopted the phrase, I don't know exactly what I can do for you, but I'm here to listen. Man, they ain't gonna bring back the lives of me.
Yeah, because also that implies that I want to talk and I may not want to.
Yeah, like, I'm here to listen. I ain't here to educate.
I'm not here to talk. So.
You know what's hilarious? Like, that statement in itself is an oxymoron, because it's like, if you know you can't help me, why would I want to talk to you?
Yeah, that's valid.
You're telling me that you can't help. I don't want to talk to you.
I want to talk to the person who can help.
Your whole foundation just collapsed on itself.
Said, look, man, I can't cook the food for you, but you can tell me what you want to eat.
Oh, damn, that metaphor. Like, are you hungry? I ain't got none, but you hungry?
So I ain't got no DoorDash or nothing, but hey, you can tell me in this situation, if you had access to food, what would you eat?
He said, I'm not from this neighborhood, but if you want me to look at the map, I will.
We just won't be some looking at the map motherfuckers, but we gonna be looking at the map
together. Just comment on street names and shit like, oh.
You're right.
Oh, like Johnson Boulevard? I know somebody's last name Johnson, yeah. Like, what?
I wonder if it's named after their great-great-great-grandfather.
But, you know, once again, great segue, because when you were talking about intro animes, listen, man,
purpose,
come on, man.
It's on purpose.
Like when you were talking about the arc you have written about for different anime that people might want to get into, obviously Dragon Ball for Life this is the flagship show for what we want to start for many other things. Like, you know, even though it's Dragon, exactly. Even though it's Dragon Ball for Life, we eventually want to branch into talking about other anime, and you know, but our gateway drug to anime was Dragon Ball. And, you know, Matt and I had talked about, you know, watching it as a kid before the bus would come and come on to the early morning TV, watching it, the Faulkner score that would be on there. But listen, I wish Kai had the Faulkner score on there, because
the Kai score is so.
you know, there's like, it's so funny in the Dragon Ball community where there's such like arguments of like, well, how can you like Faulkner? Oh, well, how can you not? It's like, well, I'm in the comfort of my home watching it. Why does it matter to you what soundtrack I prefer when I'm watching the show? Like, it's like, I grew up on that, and you're gonna tell me I'm wrong for having nostalgia. Like, okay, my bad.
But you know what's crazy about that argument, Trav? It's the people who are like so anti-Faulkner are the people who that was their introduction, was the Faulkner score, and then they like heard the original soundtrack later and then just switch sides. Like, I'd roll if it was like someone who like got on the Dragon Ball Z with like the original Japanese score.
Right.
Like, all right, cool. That's who you riding with. That was your home team. Faulkner, what's all this techno? Why is there so many guitars and bells? Like, all right, cool. But it's just like, it'd be 90s kids. They're like, Faulkner is such a disgrace to them. I'm like, bro, that's what you, that was your team.
This is what you know.
There's sometimes in the anime community where I'm like, you're not gonna earn any bonus points in my book for being a quote unquote purist. Oh no, this is the source.
Yeah,
and you know how much I agree with that. Y'all talking about this a little bit earlier. Like, I might get shade for this, but like, I actually like am almost exclusively dubs. Like, there are rare exceptions when I watch the sub by choice, and my friends have been trying to give me shade for that for literally our entire friendships. But like, for me, it's because I like, and I've explained it to people that like, when I watch anime, I like to do it passively. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to like read while I do this. Like, I'm trying to be able to do stuff like take my mind off things, just like zone out, or I'm trying to like do dishes, or I'm trying to like cook and watch this, so I might have to look away for 10 seconds and just listen real quick. Can't do that if it's subbed, right? And also, like, it goes back to what you was talking about. A lot of that whole like I prefer sub things comes from like a weird gatekeepy purist kind of stance, in my opinion. Because like a lot of people say, like, it just sounds better in the sub. I'm like, unless you are fluent in Japanese, you do not know that language. You are assuming so. You don't actually know it. Like, for all we know, this person could have the thickest, weirdest accent and voice tone for the character imaginable by Japanese standards. But like, you don't know that because you assuming that all the Japanese stuff just sounds fine. But like, it's just that weird gatekeeping, like trying to get as close to it as possible thing, you know? So I got all the defenses for like dub life because I've been getting the shade for it my whole life.
Hey, listen.
It's like the original people who shopped at Urban Outfitters. It's like, all right, get this stuff out. We get it. You're trendy. We got it. Like, no, you know what it's like? It's like the group of people who like were the first wave of the Sriracha users.
Yeah.
Like, we've been using Sriracha.
Like,
I'm like, good for you,
buddy.
They'll be mad when people don't know about it. They get mad when people know about it. It's like, okay, well, I don't know
so weird.
What. Yeah. But anyways, I feel like we didn't even let you answer the question of what your gateway drug to anime was. we just took it over. We were just like, but actually, I remember back in the kid when I was eating Fruity Pebbles.
Y'all feel like if the show had a drinking game, one of them would be we go on a tangent, and like by now, all of the audience would just be like passed out somewhere. So like, let's not make that a thing.
Load them up.
They be hammered.
Pretty much. No one's working
Shot
tomorrow. But nah, so as far as my like anime gateway drug, I gotta stay focused here. Like I said earlier, like, so actually, no, it depends on what you consider that to be. Because like for me, I was actually watching anime for a while before I knew it was anime. It didn't click to me that anime was something totally different until like they started cussing and like killing people. And that was, and they always were doing that, but I wasn't aware of it until Yu Yu Hakusho hit like Toonami and everything back in like whatever year that was, like 04, 05 or so back in that time. Like before that, like yeah, like I was a Pokemon fanatic. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I was watching Dragon Ball Z and trying to go Super Saiyan in my living room and all that kind of stuff. Like I did all that.
Top of your lungs.
Yes, and my grandmother going, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just doing what they do."
I'm trying to.
I'm trying to go blonde. but like, so I was watching all of that kind of stuff. But it wasn't until I started watching Yu Yu Hakusho, I'm like, did they just say, "Damn it, they can do that"? Because before they were just cartoons, right? But Yu Yu Hakusho was like whole gateway. Yeah, like that's blood. Whoa! And like my whole world changed and everything at that point. And that also gave me still to this day all-time favorite anime character, Kazuma Kuwabara. I love him, like everything he stands for. Like my favorite character, and I watched a lot of anime, y'all. He's still like, yes,
he is
Blake Griffin. Honestly, yeah, he's got the height, hair, and the voice. He's got it all.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
But now that was my gateway into it, and then from there it kind of went deep. But actually, the interesting thing about that is I had a big anime phase when I was younger and stuff, like coming back to school, talking to my friends about like them reading manga that just came out in Japan early and everything. And that's back in the early internet days, where like it would probably take you like an hour to download one issue stuff, right? And then like.
Man, all the
yes, and like
you didn't have the money to buy it actually. You're just like, I guess I'll wait.
Yes. Or like you would buy anime because you'd have to go to like the FYE or Best Buy and dig around and create like, here's one like 3-episode DVD pack of Inuyasha. I don't know anything. I'm gonna take it home and just watch it. Like that's what we had to do back in the day. And people that came before us had it even worse.
Bro, you just explained my childhood.
Bro, Universal, like if you grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, anime was still not common. It was Toonami, or you like, it was either Toonami, or you were going to like FYE digging around crates, or you were like doing illegal things to get them by like beating people in like parking lots or back alleys, and they smuggled it from Japan.
Yo, jumping somebody for a Yu Yu Hakusho is hilarious but real at the same time. Like, yo, that's shit is worth it.
Damn, you just the nostalgia that just hit me with that. Because y'all remember Suncoast videos? That was like FYE before God. FYE was like.
I don't think I remember that. I don't know if we had that out here.
Maybe that was an East.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been an East Coast thing. But yeah, we had Suncoast videos, and that was where all the anime was, and it was in like the back of the store. Next to the porn videos, essentially.
And right in the middle is the bridge between the two. You have the hentai.
Like it smelled like lube back there for some reason. Like
they really did place it in those.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, it was in the back next to the porn. Yeah, wow. But it'd be crazy because it's like as a kid. You would like tell like, you know, because you're always at the mall. You're always at the mall with your mom. So it's just like you're walking towards the anime ones. She's like, "Whoa, what the fuck are you going?" Like, "Nah, mom, just cartoons." Like she don't believe you. Yeah, all right, you ain't going back there to look at no cartoons.
Like I know what's back there. Like yes, the cartoons.
Like I know.
And it doesn't matter. It didn't matter if it was a G anime or an adult anime. Every woman in anime always had big boobs. So just like.
Yep.
Well, like I'm telling you right now, this is for kids. Oh, is it really? Is it really? Am I?
And then you would get the VHS tape and have like the trailers, and it always have like that one TVMA trailer right before and that's when your parent walks in like, "Oh, I swear this isn't the one that I'm watching."
Or like the random like bathhouse scene in the anime because they always gotta have a bathhouse scene. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Every single time.
Mm-hmm. But actually, y'all remind me of something because I didn't answer a question earlier. You were asking like the least fun, but also most fun articles I worked on. I think one of the most fun one that ties into all this was for the Daily Dot like 5 years ago. I got to have an interview over the phone with Brian DeMarco. Wait, nope, let me take that back. I actually got the name wrong on that one. I got to have an interview with one of the co-creators of Toonami. I tweaked on that one. So bad.
Oh
I'm
shit!
dumb.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm tweaking. I follow him on Twitter and everything. I feel so bad about this. Oh, Jason DeMarco. There we go. Not Brian. No, so Jason DeMarco is one of the co-creators.
Yeah,
of Toonami.
DeMarco, right?
And it was basically like about like the 20-year anniversary of Toonami, its influence on anime in America. So like, shouts to them for being the original like pioneers and all that. Because like a whole generation discovered this medium primarily because of them.
Yeah. No, honestly, like
Yeah. Tom was like everybody's home.
Yes.
Like Tom was that guy.
he just, I was like, yo, this is, even though this is like a robot, he seems hella cool. Like I would,
Right?
Yo, facts. It's like you be in your living room, feel like you was kicking it with him. You know, like in between commercials, he was like, "So hey, what's up?"
Right.
He was like, "Hey, what's up, Tom?"
Yeah, and then he said goodbye. Listen with the abandonment
so
issue.
excited.
It's like everybody's talking about Steve from Blue School leaving us. Tom left us too.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, that one hurt.
Nah, remember when Tom died and like came back? It's like Tom 2.0. It was just like growth. He had a whole character arc, yo. Yeah, before he left. Yeah, he was like tall and slim now and stuff. Yeah, like it was like a whole Tom had a whole character arc.
He said he's back on the keto diet. Well, I'm gonna be right back real quick. My computer is on 20%, and you know, for those that didn't know when we had our pre-interview call, I don't want to pull a Keith, so I'll be right back.
Hey, toy collectors, do you like Transformers or Star Wars or Transformers or Lego or Transformers or Gundam or Transformers? Or maybe even Transformers? Check out Toy Spotlight, which features a guy who has 2 thumbs and does toy reviews. Not sure why the thumbs are important, but go check it out anyway. Go to youtube.com/Toy Spotlight, spelled Lite, which is a funny way to spell toys. See you there!
So yeah, Tom, when he came back with the new body.
Totally natural. Nothing happened.
No, we've been here the whole time.
All chest, no legs.
Hilarious. All right, so I actually got a question for you. All right, so we know your gateway.
Yep.
So give us your favorite like sellout. Everybody loves this anime, and then give us like your sleeper.
I like that.
Oh, okay. So like my favorite anime that everyone loves. I'm gonna go Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Actually, like that's my favorite one. That's like kind of universally loved, and like for a number of reasons. Like
that was a good answer.
And that's actually like so. My girlfriend, before we started dating, she actually hadn't watched much anime. Like she's seen some, of course, for sure, but like it wasn't like she wasn't deep in anime culture at all. And like dating me was kind of inevitability. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna like ease her into to see how it goes. And she took to it like water. But one of the first ones I had her watch was Full Metal because I know she loves Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I wish I could give credit to whoever was that said this because I even talked about it on my podcast once. Somebody said that Avatar is the Western world's view of the East, and Full Metal Alchemist is the Eastern world's view of the West. And I heard that, I'm like, people always say on every anime list to start with, like, if you like Avatar, you're like this, but that's the most perfect way I heard that explained, right? I'm like, that's probably the second best, like, analysis bar I've ever heard in my life. The other best bar I heard was somebody saying that Outcast is the 2 artists always trying to balance who's the pimp and who's the gangster. You never know which is which. I'm like, that is fire. I love that.
Damn, that's so real.
That's the best bar I ever heard. My goal in my career is to write something that fire.
Yeah, that was a bar. That just kind of fucked my head.
Right? I'm like, damn, but you think about that career, I'm like, yeah, like Big Boy wasn't like, you first think like, oh, yeah, Big Boy was a gangster. I'm like, wait, nah, because like he had a whole pimp era. Then yeah, so that with Andre, like, yeah, he did both.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. Like, shout outs to whoever came up with that reference.
Please Google and give them credit. I wish I could.
That is crazy. That's gonna be the name of the episode.
Yes, there we go. Outcast, Tale of the Pimp versus the Gangster.
Outcast is the Tale of the Pimp versus the Gangster.
And then
we don't. Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, anime.
Yeah, so like
Full Metal Alchemist happens. Yes, that's the name of the episode.
Yeah, my Mikey, bleep that title name out. We might have to sell that to Outkast for their reunion album. We might need that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We all get to cut of that, and the person who came up with it too. We gotta be fair.
You feel me?
But
we gotta help them out.
Yeah, you were saying so yeah, like my favorite anime that everyone loves is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I was told to avoid the original version. I always have, and everything I've heard about it makes me think like it's not really worth me going to. Could be wrong though.
Same.
One of my
haven't seen the original.
Really, y'all never watched the original?
I haven't. Nah.
That's crazy. Because the original one was the one that came on Toonami, or Adult Swim, like the original run. So my introduction to Full Metal was the first one.
I get that. Well, the wild thing about discussing with anime on Adult Swim is that like you never caught the first episode, so you would like catch it. I'm like, am I going to watch this? So like, I probably saw it and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna just skip it until I catch it again.
Yo. Inuyasha on Adult Swim, no continuity.
None.
They just gave you episodes random.
Did any of y'all like really like? Okay, I'm gonna stay consistent with this, and then at one point it just jumped back, and you're like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Yes, that happened multiple times.
So look, I'm Trad. I'll show you my dog. So. Mid-show, Funimation lost the rights to Inuyasha, so they could never go past the certain episode. And I always remember the episode that it was, because the fucked up part is they would have like a next time on Inuyasha trailer at the end of the episode, but the episode never happened, and it would always start back over, and it happened every time. And I'll be like, all right, well, maybe they just didn't catch up with the dub yet. And then, that happened for probably like 5 years. Like they just would run Inuyasha until that last episode and stopped it. But then Final Act got picked up, and it's on Funimation now, but it originally came out on Hulu, and they finished the show. So, which was thank God. And then the remake, the Princess, I'm gonna say it all the way wrong, Yashashimi, maybe I'm probably saying that all the way wrong, but it was It wasn't a remake. It was a sequel, but it's about Inuyasha and Shishomaru's kids. Fire.
Well,
okay.
Fire. Like I highly recommend that.
I think Rennie has to use the bathroom. She keeps on whimpering now.
Absolutely.
Dog dad life.
So you get, you already know them fur babies is real. Exactly. So you gave us your universally loved one. What's like your sleeper one? It doesn't necessarily have to be like an obscure one. But like you're one like, this is your jam, and like not a lot of people are like, oh, what's that?
Okay, I don't gotta go super deep. I got that. So actually, I'm gonna answer this question and the question you're probably gonna ask me later on too, of like what I'm currently watching. I'm currently in the middle of watching an anime about soccer, the sports anime that's dubbed. It's like great to my heart. I love it. Called Aoishi. And
do you watch Tribe 9? I'm sorry to cut you off. I just got super excited.
I actually watched a few episodes of that. Wait, time out. Is that the baseball one? Yes, I watched a few episodes of that one, and I was like, "Yo, what is happening?" Like the city is the baseball field.
Yeah, because baseball is my favorite sport, so I like stumbled onto that one, and I was like, "Oh, this show's amazing."
I get that. See, my favorite sport is like football and American football. I wish that like it was bigger in Japan, so I get an anime about it, but it ain't gonna happen no time soon. But yeah,
that would be fun. It
would be fire. But that was a trip. But yeah, my sleeper right now is Aoishi, and it's an anime that's about this kid. Like, of course, anime like high school kids, like most anime are about and stuff. He's trying to like be an elite soccer player. He's recruited by a coach to play for like the junior club team for like one of the big clubs in Japan. His whole dream is to play forward and score all the goals and everything. And like he keeps trying to figure out like how to do that. Then like all of a sudden, middle of the series, say, you know what? Not only are you not meant to be a forward and score all the goals, we're gonna have you go all the way and play in the back of the field and play on defense exclusively. And like that was a wild trip for him. But like I love that. I've been watching it recently. And I'm sorry, spoilers by the way, because it's like But anyway, the reason why I say it's a sleeper too is because
it's the soccer version of Shield Hero.
Basically.
Like you thought you were going to be the main character.
No, I mean, he's still the main character, but like what in any other anime would have been his whole life's purpose gets flipped totally upside down, right? And I say it's a sleeper because everyone's looking forward to another soccer anime that's probably from much more popular manga called Blue Lock coming out soon. And like that one's probably going to get all the headlines and all the fandom and everything. But Aoishi already has a season out, and it's spelled AO space AISHI, I think, or ASHI, one of the two. You'll find it either way. And like it's really fun. I think maybe like 13 episodes. You can crank through that in like an afternoon or something. That's my sleeper pick right now.
That's like work. Love it. Yeah, sports animes always are dope.
Yes.
like sport. Yeah, they're always super clutch.
Yeah, because like they're conveying perfect stories. The dramatics are there and everything. The what?
I was saying like the cooking show ones.
Yes.
Those are hilarious too.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. I think we all know what you're talking about right now. You say cooking ones. We're talking about Food Wars, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Check that out.
I was trying to be inclusive, and because I know there's other
There are
ones.
other ones, but like, we all know it's Food Wars. Let's not even play no games, bro.
Yeah, my bad. Like, you got me.
Shoot.
I've been had.
Damn, this man knows his stuff. Goddamn.
But see, the interesting thing about Food Wars is like that's an anime you have to be very particular about. One, bring it up in conversation because like if someone doesn't know what it is, at least my second point, you got to be really careful who you tell about this show. Because like if they watch it themselves and they ain't already, well, they're used to like anime and how it goes, they gonna look at you like, what do you do in your free time? Like, what you be watching over here? Like, first episode has tentacles.
Are you alone when you watch this show?
Are you clothed when you watch this?
Yeah.
My God.
Is everything good?
What time of night do you put this on?
But I will say that, like, it's still a great show regardless. Like, you can tell they really put the work into the food on there because everything they say makes all the sense in the world. It's just they also happen to make food so good that people's clothes come off sometimes.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
There's been food in anime where I'm like, this looks good. This is like
Yeah.
I shouldn't think a cartoon should look appetizing.
Yeah. Like everything Chi-Chi makes is fire.
Hey, matter of fact, have y'all heard this YouTube channel called FBE? Have y'all heard this YouTube channel called FBE? I think it stands for Fine Brothers Entertainment.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So they actually like they have a whole series of videos where they'll bring people out and like they'll like put amazing food in front of them and dare them not to eat it. And they have a few episodes that are strictly about like real life versions of anime food. So like it'll be like your favorite anime and like or Food Wars actually, for example. They have like a professional chef make the food that you see in the anime and put it in front of these people and they have to decide whether they want to like eat it or not. And you'd be surprised, like some of this food looks amazing and like I really want that.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
I'm like,
oh, please do. Like, it's a great thing
I'm
to
just
do.
like, Goku, why you spend so much time in the other world? Like, your wife throws down in the kitchen. Like, what are you doing,
Yes,
y'all?
you love to eat. Stay home.
Stay home. Stay home.
Don't be making sense at all.
Nothing about Goku makes any sense whatsoever.
You
not one,
really
not
break
one
down
thing.
the character and you're like, whoa,
When you deep dive into Goku, like, oh, he's a walking contradiction.
Pretty much. I'm like, you're an oxymoron. Like, you just, no, you're a moron and oxymoron.
it's like,
Facts. Like, you leave the fight to defend the family that you're never around. Like,
oh God, so many things. Like, you want the person to get stronger so they can fight you better? Like, no, just beat them now,
bro.
said you could
Don't get us started on that. Don't get us started on Goku wanting the bad guy to get better so he can fight more.
Oh, God.
Like, dog, dude,
Goku's a toxic king.
Save the world, please.
Oh, easily.
1,000%.
Like,
Exactly what he is.
I need a feminist deep dive on Goku and just tear them to shreds. Like,
Please.
Yo, real shit.
let me hear that. I want to hear all that
I
smoke
want that.
for Goku.
Get all the bars.
Look, we gotta put together like a 10-episode pack of like Goku's most toxic moments and just like let women watch it and like, yo, critique this man for us, please.
And it's so
know what
funny
he
that,
did wrong.
yeah, please. But isn't it so funny when you talk to all of your friends that watch Dragon Ball, and I can't name any of my friends that intensely watch Dragon Ball and name Goku as their favorite character.
Nobody.
Yeah, nah.
Like, even when he's had his dope moments, like when
want.
Ultra Instinct happened and everything, was like, oh, this is really cool. But then, like, it still, it's crazy because, everything is centered around, Goku and Vegeta. And, I really feel like the Vegeta fan base is a lot higher than the Goku fan base. But, it's like Vegeta, Frieza, Piccolo, Trunks. But, ain't nobody give a fuck about Goku.
Not really. Nah, he's just there.
The only time where Goku is like universally loved by the culture is when he did the skateboard slide Kamehameha against Kefla in the Tournament of Power. That was the only time like Black Twitter erupted for Goku.
Didn't that whole like scene look like it's a Kadoozy popsicle?
What was that?
Remember them noodles? It's a Kadoozy.
Oh,
those world.
Okay, now I got you. You love me there.
Colors.
Yeah, the yellow, green, red.
Yeah. No, yes, you're right. I totally see it now.
That's hilarious. Or them that same style, them lollipops. They used to be on the boardwalk. Them, that were like disgusting. That were
sugar rock.
Yeah, that shit tastes like plastic.
Probably was. Hold on.
It probably and high key probably was.
We got fed a lot of bullshit as kids, and they said that you shouldn't be eating that. I don't want to eat it. You're giving it to me. Stop giving it to me.
I'm a child. I will eat what you give me. That's not my choice.
You're the adult here. God damn it.
Like there ain't an ounce of cheese in those Easy Macs that we used to get as kids. Not one shred of real cheese anywhere in that shit.
We have cheese product, okay?
It's cheese adjacent.
Water noodles with a dash of cheese powder.
Yes.
No, it's like you remember that moment like when you were a teenager and you found out like American cheese isn't cheese, but that was like the only cheese your parents put in your house as a kid.
Yes, bro, it's my whole world upside down.
I was like, this ain't cheese.
Something with American listed in front of it. We found out it's actually not real. Wow.
Like America and lies? What?
Who'd have thought?
I would never have guessed those could be in the same sentence.
Word. This is the United States of honesty. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, when it comes to America and the many cultures that are in America, we're going to talk about this culture in general. Have you seen a shift in the way that anime is discussed? Because Matt and I talk about this all the time, where it's like, I mean, part of one of the inspirations that we did come up with Dragon Ball for Life was just that, growing up, it was always, you were looked at as like the weird kid for watching anime, right? It didn't matter, who you were or whatever. So like if you associated with certain circles where you would get made fun of like crazy for watching it, you just kept it to yourself. But now it definitely seems like it's a lot more mainstream. This ain't you wasn't with us shooting in the gym type conversation. It's more so like, no, I fucking love that, it's like this now, right? Because the fact that we can be on this platform to talk about this, knowing that there's an audience that wants this content, but also in the same way, it's like being able to discuss it in the way that we talk about an NBA game, recapping that. Like, I think that element has been, just super dope to me, and especially when we see more prominent personalities embracing it.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, to me, that's personally like a beautiful thing. Like, the more people that come into it, that means we'll get more support for the anime industry and the medium as a whole and stuff. So that means we'll get more good stuff, right? Like, and yes, we're going to have like some flops here and there as a result of that. And I'm primarily thinking about like live action adaptations right now. But the fact that we keep getting them means there's a demand for them. I know. So but see, like every now and then they trick me and make me want to give it. Every now and then they trick me and make me want to give it a shot. For example, like the Cowboy Bebop one. If you forget it's supposed to be about Cowboy Bebop, it's a good show. But like when you remember, it's like, oh, I know this is supposed to be.
That is a perfect example. If you totally ignore the fact that it's supposed to be Cowboy Bebop, it's a great show.
Yeah, because I was trying to rewatch with my girl. As a matter of fact. Right, we just like call it someone else. The one like Space Western. I'm like, got you.
Space Western. Facts. The one thing I will say that I did really like about the live adaptation is that they highlighted the fact that both Vicious and Spike were fucking Julia. Like the anime, it wasn't really like ever like really like forefront. So like you never really understood the beef. You was just like, why does Vicious and Spike
like they made it seem
really
like Vicious had an unrequited like attraction to Julie. I'm like, nah, like there were relationships there, and it was a very complicated situation and stuff. But like, yeah, there's more to this.
Yeah, and I like, and the only way that you ever like really got that is if you put the pieces together from like the ending credits. Like you had to watch the scenes from the ending credits each episode. Like, wait, she in the bed with Vicious,
right? Or that one like cutscene they always showed. I'm like, okay, I got to take this very
when it was in
sped up thing. Yes, like that whole sped up scene they would always show whenever he does a flashback. I'm like, let me look at this like panel by panel and see what's happening here, right? No, it's all that. But yeah, but I was saying like basically like the way.
Hold up, we got another recording, Phil. We want you to like get your shit off and tell us everything that you got going on. Yes. Let the people know, like, do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on currently that you're allowed to share?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't signed the NDAs or anything. But so I have, first of all, I have an article coming out for no, actually, yeah, let me think. Yeah, first of all, I have my first article, like I talked about earlier, coming out with Crunchyroll, which is going to be about like adult anime characters, because so many anime out here focus on like teenagers and stuff like that. I'm like, look, I just turned 30. I'm a fan of anime. Like, who are some people who like are old enough to like legally rent a car that like I can appreciate and relate to, right? So I got that coming out probably in the next few weeks or so. And one that I'm actually working on right now for Black Nerd Problems is an article on D&D, as in Dungeons and Dragons, and dating. And it's going to kind of talk about like how it's like Dungeons and Dragons, something I discovered in the pandemic, and because we played it virtually and stuff. I'm like, this is a way for me to connect with people, because like there's no other people around right now and stuff, and I love nerdy things and high fantasy and all that kind of stuff. And I came to find out like, oh, this is actually a very fun game. So then when I started dating my girlfriend, I'm like, all right, so like, as a matter of fact, when I was dating in general at that point, I was like, all right, since I'm nerdy as hell, so nerdy that I like Dungeons and Dragons, is that cool? And like sometimes I would get a mixed reaction to that. But when it came to my girlfriend, like I like did that with her. She's like, yeah, I love Lord of the Rings and everything. Let's check it out. And like she likes it more than I do at this point. So basically what I want to do is like take an article, talk about how like we need to be able to find someone to be in a relationship with out here that you can be your full self with, even if cases where they don't even fully connect with that same hobby, like they understand it and let you have it, right? So like that's something I got coming in the works too with Black Nerd Problems. And as always, time for my own last shameless plug. You can catch me along with my friends and co-hosts Mikkel Snyder and Victoria Routine on our own weekly podcast called This Week in Nerd News. Just your quick 20-25 minute weekly recap. Just check out what's happening in nerd stuff that week. And that's where you'll find me, folks.
I mean, maybe we could pull up on you and on your podcast.
Hey,
I think we're inviting ourselves.
He said home and away games.
Yes, we found out.
we them cousins that just show up.
No, I'm gonna set that up for sure. Yeah.
No, facts. Yeah, that would be great. I would love that. We them cousins that just show up, but we always show up with alcohol. So it's like that's why you let us.
Always welcome. Just bring that with.
That's why you let us in. Like, hey, come on in, bro.
But
you can help with that.
But Keith, whenever we have people on, we always say that don't let this be the first and last time we speak to you, because the guests that we have on, we genuinely love to talk to, and this was by far exactly that. And shit, we might have to the people got to get to that joke. I was like, we should name the episode Fangango, but they got to get to that. So
they gotta earn.
I think that might be a good lead, to be honest with you.
I like it. I like it. Oh, the Outcast one.
Oh yeah, Outcast.
Cars done for the album.
Yeah, we got good options here.
If y'all want to use this, you gotta pay us. We need collateral. We need collateral.
We need all that.
We need all that. Well, I think it's funny enough. In the history of interviewing that me and Trav have done with this podcast and previous ones, I think this is the first time that we ever got through all the questions.
Hey,
well, that itself, we gotta put Keith in like a special category of just like.
I'll tell you, I don't know how we did it with like me starting all the tangents and all that, but I'm glad it happened.
Man, we made it.
I'm telling you, it's the chemistry, it's the energy, and
yes.
But
Man, if y'all have me, I will definitely be back.
Hell
This was a great time. And I just love talking to like fellow, like positive, like-minded, nerdy folks. And we
love that. And now that we know that Chicago isn't, Illinois isn't actually enacting the purge, and if we're ever in Chicago, we're gonna have to pull up because once y'all started with that, I said, damn, I ain't hitting enough heat when I'm in the area.
I really wanted some deep dish. Guess I gotta wait.
We're gonna kill the thin crust, the real Chicago pizza, bro. We're gonna get you right.
Solid.
Listen, the first time I had Chicago deep dish, I was like, I shouldn't need to eat this with a pizza with a fork and a knife, and then like. I was slumped.
I mean, deep dish is fine and well for what it is, but like that's basically the tourist special occasion pizza. Like we get that for like it's your birthday, take that. But like real talk, like I grew up on like square cut thin crust pizza, family tavern style. That's what I grew up on. So that's real Chicago pizza right there. Yes.
Look, y'all heard it here. Deep dish ain't it, folks.
Exactly. Nah.
We putting deep dish Chicago pizza in the same box as us Philadelphians with Pats and Gino. Just box it all in.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
People that you can tell that have never visited the city. They're like, so what are you thinking, Pats or Geno's? And they always get shocked on. I'm like, neither.
Neither. like the reaction is always like, ew. that's always the reaction. Yes. We don't eat that shit.
When you're really from a city, the best food always comes from the one place the only people in the neighborhood go to. It's never like the place you can find like 30 of throughout the city.
Exactly.
It's not that.
Exactly. It's
big.
It's the places that have like they make enough money where they can upgrade their system or their business practices, and they just don't. It's like, why I gotta call through 500 busy lines to get through to order a damn piece of pizza? Like, I know you're making enough money to change this.
Or like, y'all ain't changed it's like y'all ain't changed out the bulletproof glass since I was a kid because I wrote my name right there. Like, what y'all doing? We need some upgrades in here.
So what is this?
Do better.
Still got the dinosaur box ATM machine with the thick keys.
Like bubblegum machine being there since 1972. Like, what you doing?
That's the same purple piece I saw when I was 10. Y'all ain't changed shit.
Ain't none of that changed.
But you know what? I keep coming back to the food is fire. But where's my money going?
It's the spot where you walk out with the food. You gotta look both ways before you step out the store.
Facts. Like my favorite barbecue spot in the city is called Uncle John's. It's like 3 blocks away from what I consider probably one of the busiest intersections in the city. And you know what I mean by busy. But I still be going there every couple of weeks. I'm like, I can't help it.
Listen, you because you know your surroundings. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do.
Yes.
He said it's traffic out that way. I ain't talking about cars.
Right.
Before we close this out, Keith, let the people know where they can find you at all your socials. Get it, rattle them all off.
Yeah. If y'all can find me on Twitter, Instagram, pretty much every social out there. Same like username is Keith-Reid _C. You can also find my portfolio, like link on those places as well. And just generally, you can find my content coming out in a number of places like Black Nerd Problems, Crunchyroll, random places that might come up down the road and stuff too. Just keep an eye for my byline, y'all.
Listen, man, we're gonna plug all that. We're gonna make sure that people know. But Keith, this has been an absolute pleasure. We definitely want you back on, and we might feel some type of way if you don't hit us up to come on.
I hear you. Like exactly.
Fact though. Travis, is there anything you want to get off before we wrap this?
No, man. I mean, this is just another example of why I have so much fun doing this. Just because this is technically the second time we've actually spoken outside of email threads, and it's just always dope to talk to people, and it just seems like, oh yeah, I know Keith. That's my man from around the way. So that's always a dope aspect of doing this. But outside of that, man, I'm just looking forward to the next time we get to link up.
Yeah, man. Likewise, for sure. Again, thanks for having me, man.
Wow. Well, if that's everything, we will close this bad boy up. Keith, it has been an absolute pleasure. You know who we are. It's Mr. Matty Ice, Matthew Porter, Bro G to the Prince of All Sayings, with my cohort and counterpart, the Oob, to my Majin Buu, Mr. Troll Trav, saying A sharp, all of his aliases. He loved our women like Krillin. And like we always say here on DB4L, whether you watch it or you read it, we all need it. So follow that fandom right back here, and we will see you next time on Dragon Ball Faux Life. Dodon Red.
Y'all hear Rennie telling me like, "Yo, Dad, come on, stop! Let's play time."
All right, because Rennie said so, we gotta go. Shout out to super producer Mikey.
Love you, Mikey, and shout out to Yali for making this happen on this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
All
you.
Caps. Shout out to Queen Yali, and we.